Good evening and thanks for joining us. Welcome to another edition of Off Script on Lagos Television this Saturday, the 5th of May, 2018. Off Script is a program designed to take you off the usual narratives of different issues and happenings around us. I am Aditola Coyote. Last week, we took a look at privacy in marriage, and we had Olubusola Olufemi and Adeshino Okerinde lend their thoughts on this issue. One other hand is that you do not really need to crowd into others people's spaces, people meaning your spouse, and on the other hand, you cannot have anything called privacy in marriage. You have to come, as you are into the marriage or relationship as you speak. It was pretty an interesting discussion. You can watch again by going on to our social media platforms, Lagos Television at LTV Social, and of course, Off Script LTV on Instagram, and of course, Facebook. It will be there and you can watch again and continue the conversation. All right, today on the program, we'll be taking a look at substance abuse, effect and control. Well, it's a raging situation right now, but that's what we'll be taking a look at on the show today. Well, Off Script continues as we take another break to bring you off grams what's trending on social media today. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
On Off-Gram, Instagram blog at Instalog Naija posted this. We all deserve some accolades according to Oshibajo, our Obodo Naija vice president. Instantly, response poured for Oga VP at blank BUT. Sir, leave English. The person who deserves all the accolades now is at Charles_Okocha for giving us something to trend with. You people cannot call us lazy and then steal our slang. At Charles_Okocha deserves all the political and national accolades, Biko. At Popu_N_Vanilla. At least the smiling Nigerians deserve some accolades and missed everything. Shebi, you understand? I dey come. And at Passaline Medium, give recognition to the vice president. Oga comot for road. Mr. Honorable Vice President is repping street vibes. This next one is on Mama Two-Face. At Olofofo Naija posted a post. A kid can't keep a man. Madam Ani Idibia is surely speaking in another tongue. At Ibis Will. The truth is only a man who wants you to be kept can be kept. As in, if it no be you, go up, come down, no be you. Bros, no be you, jare. Good women have been treated poorly in the hands of wrong men and vice versa. At Frack_Chujo. Seems to be Annie's cheerleader. Laughing LMAO. Reality is ash though. I dey waka pass. And at the Sugar_Girl. Seems not to go with the flow. Maybe she meant having kids won't keep a man. This last one is not too interesting, Joe. At Chante Dilams, I have been holding on to this BC. I wasn't going to do anything she's comfortable with, but can't stand with it anymore. This is my sister who was beaten by a at Taxify_ZA driver on Saturday afternoon. He also took her belongings. He continued until she was saved by people who saw what happened. People's reaction at I King Mini. Hey, it be like said them go soon start to dey beat all these Taxify/Uber drivers. Their own done dey too much. At John O_Barton. Wait, na normal woman being hand do you this thing? At Sumi Bamire, let me keep taking down for and bike to my destination because till I finally get the car. Abi, no be so.
You're watching Off Script on Lagos Television doesn't have to end here. We can continue the conversations online.
Okay, we take a few reactions from Facebook posts. We have this post from Quadri Adelawa. Well, Thank you for staying tuned. You're still watching our script on Lagos television, and that was Off Grams. Okay, it's about trending issues on social media. Some we can laugh over, and some other issues we can begin to take a second look at it. Well, that Taxify issue, Taxify Uber issue, is something that we need to take another look at, and some of these companies can keep doing a double check on people who are onto their platform to do business. Let us be sure they are actually doing the business they're meant for, okay? All right, then. Today on the program, we'll be taking a look at the effects and solutions to substance abuse with a consistent quest to get high by youths and some adults, and not really left out in this. We need to take a quick check so that we can won't have a generation that will be enmeshed in such crisis. Okay, and in-house today I have Donald A.K., who's the coordinator, the director of Hope for Addicts Initiative. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. We also have Dokun Adedeji, who is a medical doctor and, of course, the national coordinator of Christ Against Drug Abuse Ministry. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for bringing me here.
Thank you. All right, then we'll kick off with this social media post, which will we'll kick off our conversation with this. And it says a 24-year-old male final year university student died this morning, and that's like 5 days ago. He attended a party 5 days ago. He attended a party where he ingested an unknown quantity of liquor, codeine syrup, tramadol, and marijuana. He ended up bleeding from nostrils and mouth and intractable seizures. He died in ICU. That's the intensive care unit of the hospital. That's a sad one, but that's the situation we find ourselves these days, and it's a growing one. The government has taken steps. This is not the first time media houses are reporting about it, but let's say thanks to the federal government for taking this step, but then we shouldn't wait till a foreign media, does something before we take actual action, because this is not the first time. How do you see this? Let me start from the medical doctor.
The sad thing for me is that we wait until something hits us in the face. This drug issue is just being enlivened because BBC carried it. It's a day-to-day thing. It's with us. I can tell you for free that we're in an epidemic. That is just the simple way to say it. And it saddens me the kind of response that the government has made by the first thing to do, they thought to do, was to ban codeine. Maybe that's the option open to them, but I think they could have done a lot better. I think banning it is going to, in my own estimation from what I've seen, I think it's going to make it a bit worse, in the sense that codeine is going to be more expensive. And then they're going to drive the attitude underground, and then the sale of codeine underground, and then the, should I say, illegal importation of codeine will increase. It's, I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. That's my attitude.
I'll get back to that because I heard a part of a statement, banning that codeine, and I'll get back to that. Why do you think people, take on these substances, tramadol, codeine, and all of those things? Why is there a need for it? What do youths gain from it?
First of all, some youths just want to feel among their fellow youths. They want to be in the clique. Most people just want to try it. Some people, out of idleness, they go into these drug abuses, and turns out really bad, because once you start abusing drugs, before you know it, you're an addict, and it's hard to quit. So most times you just want to start from trying. Some of them want to be among the clique. Some for recreational purpose. I'm tired. I think this is what will help me.
Okay, I really need to understand what getting high means, because I see videos, I see pictures, and they look numb, not in control. So what does high mean?
Getting high is
I don't know.
Like you said, that when you're not in control of yourself, you're high. So I don't see any necessity of it, of getting high. But most youths just want to use it to, feel among. I don't know. Everybody has a personal reason for getting into drug abuse, but there is no reason just enough to start abusing drugs.
Okay. I know you've had contacts with some of these people. What's the reason?
You see, truly, there's a high
Okay.
with this.
Okay.
High
In court.
quotes. You see, the thing is, it gives a feeling of elation, a feeling of something out of the ordinary experience, out of the body experience, making them feel that they can do the things they never thought they could do in normal circumstances. And it gives a feeling of freedom. Maybe some of them have been under tension, they're worried about something, and all kind of issues, and then suddenly he sees that he doesn't have to worry about anything. It's like R. Kelly said, I think I can fly.
Okay, you're
And
thinking.
Yeah. So you then see them do the things that you never thought was possible. Or somebody who couldn't speak to a girl, and then he takes it, and then suddenly it becomes
And
free.
if somebody comes with you with that kind of steps and start talking to you, you think the girl will say yes or something?
It depends. It depends on the circumstances. If, for instance, at the party, and the girl says that, and she might just. But the thing is, if it's somebody you know, and then you begin to say, when did this begin? But again, it depends on the circumstances, the interface that occurs. It's a sad feeling, and the thing is, true with an eye, but they never
See people getting high.
Yeah, it's true. You see, the thing is, the nation needs. I'm glad that this has happened in some way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because it's opened everybody's awareness. People used to think that motor park boys are the people who do drugs.
Yes.
or
But now we
take
have
drugs.
learned
Now we
people,
know
students who go to
anyone.
school.
Anyone can do it, either deliberately or inadvertently. I mean, if you go to a party and then the cookies that were given to you have been laced with marijuana, and then you just feel, or you eat with your friend, you eat beans with your friend, because they cook beans with marijuana, and then you just begin to, it depends. Some go into it deliberately, as he said, because of one thing. But you see, one thing is, for each addict, he has his own reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although,
All right. I also know that you've had contacts with some of these people, but then how easy is it to, find yourself getting it, buying it in the open market?
Well, it's been made available. It's a medical drug, so it's been made available to
I'm
health centers.
not just talking about codeine now, all other substances.
Okay, the fact is, bringing most of these drugs, these social drugs, are cheap in the market. Like marijuana, you just 100 naira or 50 naira, you can get
That cheap.
Yeah, it's that cheap. So most of them, they don't get to worry. You can actually 50 naira and just go straight to the street vendor where they sell them. So I think it's really a serious issue.
Okay, we'll continue with our conversation, but then right now, okay, there's a percentage of fatal overdoses caused by tramadol. That's 525, 557. Oh, that's United States. That's the blue, and while the red is worldwide. 525 to 557. Oh, okay, then that's the comparison. We'll still talk about opioid, and it's a global issue. I remember Cronkite School in ASU, Arizona State University, doing a big report, a big report on opioid and substance use. And I understand that even in Nigeria, there are over 100,000 use of it.
Absolutely. You see, the thing is, opioids are narcotic analgesics.
Okay.
That are used in hospital for therapeutic purposes. But that is under controlled environment. And then today there are all kinds of synthetic opioids. Fentanyl, narcofentanyl, tramadol. Some of those drugs are available here and just over the counter. If, for instance, you go across the road, you can buy injection pentasozine, which is 420, which usually is used in intractable pains like for C-class. And then, you see, some of the problem with opioids today is due to medical carelessness in prescription.
Okay, we'll get back to medical carelessness, of course, over-the-counter drugs in a bit. But right now, we'll take a short clip of a victim of drug misuse and abuse. Stay with us.
You're watching Off Script on Lagos Television doesn't have to end here. We can continue the conversations online.
Okay, we take a few reactions from Facebook posts. We have this post from Quadri Adelawa.
It's all about you.
Well, thank you for staying tuned. You're still watching Off Script on Lagos Television. And we're taking a look at the effects, control, and substance abuse, what everyone can do about it. And that was a clip of someone who's under the influence, if that's what we can. And that's a grown man. That's a grown man who would be proud of that video. You know, parents, even the people they're getting high for, so to for, who will be proud of that video? What do you think?
It's so sad. It's so sad to see youths with bright future, just waste off. Because I think that there's a solution to this, and if we all put our hands together, this will stop. Because if we fold our hands, like my daddy here said, the federal government did something cause it was on BBC had to, internationally it was exposed. So I think when we come together, this is a serious issue, and it's killing our society and our youth. So if we come together, put our hands together, there is a solution. So we have to look for it.
But this is not just about codeine. It's
it's
the federal government just banned codeine.
Yes.
You see, that is the grouse I have, and I've said it at every opportunity that I have, that I think is a misdirected step. And it's not that I say it out of contempt of what they have done, but I say it because there is no understanding behind it. There is no rigor behind it. Excuse me. You see, the thing is, in this country, we do things only to satisfy the moment. Oh, BBC has brought us up, the whole world now says we have a problem, the next thing to do is to ban it. That is not the answer. I don't think it is. From my own experience, I've been involved in this work for a long time, and I do understand. I asked a friend of mine, I contributed on this Facebook posting, and I said to him, if the federal government bans codeine, what happens to tramadol? What happens to Refnol? What happens to Lexotan? What happens to diazepam? What happens to injection pentazocine? What happens to injection pethidine? That is the gamut of. Even if you are able to control those ones, can you control pit latrine?
People do that too.
Oh yes. Can you control the dung? When people go to the dung and put in the mouth and put fire into it and then start running about it and then sniff it? Can you, what are you going to do about gum? About diesel, about
Yeah,
petrol,
yeah.
about nail polish remover, about methylated spirit?
All of that.
All of that.
All of that.
So what are you going to do about gegemu? Gegemu is a plant that you plant behind your house to drive away snake. People now,
The tobacco
no,
leaf.
it's not. Gegemu is a different plant.
Okay.
It has a fruit that looks rugged, and then it grows behind the house to drive away snake. People take the leaves, harvest it, and cook it, as if you boil it, and then take the fluid. And you can't take the fluid; it's so potent. So what they do, they put it in bottles and put it in dashes to alcohol.
So how do we address all of these? It looks like there's a foundational problem.
Absolutely. This is very fundamental. The thing we need to sit down is understand the dynamics of drug addiction. Why do people take drugs? What are the drugs available? What can we do? Advocacy.
Okay.
A lot of advocacy, and then we put this drug issue. And I'd like to say, I don't want us to zero in on drugs. There are so many social vices
Yeah.
that are associated with it that we need to take together and put in the curriculum of the schools.
Right from primary
Yeah.
school, because I hear
Absolutely.
the abuse starts from
Look,
there.
a friend of mine was going to work one morning in GRA. He told me himself. He saw two young kids about 9 years old. They were going to school. They were sharing the bottle of codeine.
Wow.
So if you then think, oh, this is what you do to be, what about those kids? Look, the thing that I'm begging for is to have an understanding of this thing. It's not to do knee-jerk, staccato movement, and we're doing something. It's not going to work.
And it looks as if, okay,
And
that's
it
the solution.
Absolutely, it's not. It's just added to the problem. Because there are so many unscrupulous people in Nigeria who will import the drugs and sell them. And they will only sell to the people they know. And when they know people, those are the agents who then sell to the
So-
other people. I mean, this is what will happen. And so when you do this and then you go to sleep and say, we've done something, I tell you 1 year down the road, we will say that we made
Still
a
on the
mistake.
same. But you are doing advocacy at your level, and how do you relate with these people, and from your conversation with them, what do you think can be done, especially on the part of the family, the homes?
Well, first of all, we all know. Okay, let me just say, first of all, the fact that I relate with them is just the fact that I'm a youth. So it's easy to talk to my fellow young people like, man, this thing that you're doing is something we can do about it. You need to change and you can get better. So the only thing we do is we help them get better. We give them curriculums, activities, like whatever you're interested in, sports, you want to learn something. So that it's easy to communicate with them, especially when we go on campaign. We do campaigns everywhere about drugs. So about educating the parents, I think educating the women mostly and the teachers, because they are the primary people that relate with these children one-on-one, because it's good to tackle this issue from the grassroots to help us to get better.
Okay. All right, then you can be part of this conversation by calling 0812-539-4414. 0812-539-4414. You can also go onto our social media platforms, Lagos Television on Facebook, #OffScriptLTV. You can also tweet at us at OffScriptLTV and go on to our Instagram page at OffScriptLTV. You can drop your messages, keep the conversation going, and we'll get to read them right here on the platform. You can call 0812-539-4414. Tell us your name, where you're calling, and of course, reduce the volume of your TV set. Okay. Over-the-counter drugs. Is it a possibility, in civilized world? And we know that Nigeria is getting there, but how can we put a stop to just setting up chemist shops and one Bamiji or Emeka or Audu, just setting up something, and anybody can just go, oh, please give me 2 tablets of one packet of. How can we stop it? Is there a way?
There is a way if you find the will to find it. The thing to do is, this thing is systemic. And honestly, when we talk about corruption, people think corruption is about stealing government money. It isn't.
At all.
There's corruption in every facet of our national life, and that is what is permeated in the things we see. One, how do we license patent medicine sellers? Who licenses them? Who checks them? What are the boundaries associated with what they do? When you now go to chemist, is there a difference between a chemist and a pharmacist? You see, because in the pharmacy, a pharmacist, a qualified pharmacist is supposed to run it. And then he cannot prescribe. He responds to the prescription sent to him, brought to him by a doctor. But the thing is, the system has broken down. And not only that, there are some drugs that are supposed to be... Look, when I was in medical school, we have a cupboard we call the DDA cupboard.
Okay, what's DDA?
That's... what is it now, DDA? It's something about drugs that are kept away that cannot be used in general ward. And then so what happens, it's prescribed to patients on the ward, and the doctor who prescribed it, the nurses come, they sign it out, and then you say to which patient, what is the dosage and that. But today it's everywhere. And if people can get prescription from anywhere, they can get prescription papers stolen and then written and then signed. There is no system of identification. Who prescribe? Anybody can get prescription and sign as a doctor, and then you can take it. So the thing is, it then comes back to everyone. Do we want to stop this thing? Everyone has a role to play, in the sense that we then begin to say, this is bad for society. So every area that is involved, we put checks and balances. But if those things are not there, you can get any... In this country today, you can get any drug.
And you get your drinks or food list like just what we're watching on the screen.
Yes.
Right?
Look, the alcohol, for instance, I just don't want to mention the names of the alcohol, but there's a particular one that was brought to Nigeria in small bottles before. The alcohol content is 42%.
42.
There's another one when you walk or drive on the express, you see the billboard big. I won't mention the name as well. If you read it, it's 42%. You know what they then do? Because they know you can't buy bottles or something, they've done sachets. You find all those drinks in sachets you can buy for 10 naira or 20 naira. So look, the thing is, it's also about control. Alcohol is probably the deadliest drugs available because it is socially acceptable. So you can get it anywhere.
But it's still part of the abuse.
It's still part of the issues, because the dangers of alcohol is the only drug that can affect every organ of the body. But does anybody tell you that? They say drink responsibly. So how do you drink responsibly? If we don't get serious about these things, we'll find out that, look, when I began to talk about this many years ago, people thought I was just being strident, I was being hyperbolic in the things that I was saying. Today we know. And I can tell you, if you go to schools today, let's say universities, and take 10 students at random, if you check them, 7 or 8 will be positive, boys or girls.
Whoa,
If you
that much?
That much. If you check the purses of girls, you will find crack cocaine.
So it's not just about the boys. It's
No.
And it's not a thing of the north or the south.
Look,
Now,
that is one thing that I don't like to hear. Oh, people
you know,
say,
saying,
you know, this country, we're in big trouble. People say, oh, it's because Kano is involved, that's why government is banning codeine. Those are too myopic to speak in that manner. People think, look, it's easy because many northerners, you see them on the street, that's why you see. Come down south. It's everywhere. Yes, you can say there's proponent, but don't let's sectionalize substance abuse. It's general, it's everywhere.
Wow.
I can show you in Lagos joints where you can get these things. So it's not about being enough. If we begin to look at that, we will not solve the problem. It's a national problem, and deal with it on a national scale. Don't begin, are you going to treat the northerner different in the
from
way
the
he takes
southerner?
drugs? The southerner, they take the same drugs.
all right then. For you talked about curriculums and taking activities. What else do you do? What else do you do for those people? Or do you have people? Do you take people, use people as examples, those who are now clean, who have been...
Yeah, we have a few a few young people with us that have gotten clean. The thing is, we lay them as example for the incoming people, and we tell them, if this guy's case is worse than yours, if he can get clean,
You can also get
But
clean.
the first thing you have to do is you have to be willing to get clean. So once you are willing to get clean, the process is easy. But I won't say it's that easy because we have to tell them it's easy, so you make them relaxed and ready to follow the process. But I won't say it's that easy. But with God, all things are possible, of course. So you just follow the process, follow the rules, and you'll be clean. So I think it's
Do we have enough rehabilitation centers?
Absolutely no. You know, the thing is, they are not enough because people don't even understand. I was listening, I was reading the paper some time ago. One of the senators raised up his hand and said the thing to do is to start rehabilitation centers in every local government, which is 774. And that told me immediately that he was ignorant. Because to start a rehab center and you think it's peanuts and you think it's just what anybody can do, no, it's not possible. And then to have it, you see, we cannot trivialize these issues because of ignorance or lack of understanding. We need a lot of rehab centers, but the thing is, getting the infrastructure is one, getting the personnel is another thing, because this is not a walk in the park. It's I'm able to relate with drug addicts because of the level of compassion and the level of empathy, and then they look at me and they wonder why somebody who does not know them should spend so much time with them. And honestly, I've said to people, these guys are some of the best people you can meet. Very intelligent people, very imaginative, but you see, the thing is not to fall to the allure of drugs, and anyone can. So the thing, I think we must come to a situation in this country in which we sit down and tackle this issue and then know the steps to take. Some people are very good in advocacy. What they want to do is advocacy, just go around. Who supports them? We do both. But I tell you, it's a struggle. Even to feed this, because we don't charge, to feed them, to clothe them. You see, one of the greatest things you can do for them is to encourage them, to let them, because in this country we criminalize.
But some of these people are not actually from poor homes.
No, they're not.
no, not all.
They're not. The ones we are beginning to see today are people from institutions, people who are doctors, who are lawyers, who are accountants, already professionals. So it's not a motor park stuff. It is across the board. Drug substance abuse has no respect for gender, has no respect for race or wherever you come from, status. Anyone can be, and it's a range of ages now.
And what we see these days is, how would I put it? I don't want to mess up. We see entertainers, we see role models, subtly endorsing, some of these substances and attitudes and acts, emanating from the use of all these things. How do you feel about that, even as a youth?
Well, you see, entertainers are not even helping the issue because you see them on TV smoking and taking alcohol as if it's fun. It's not fun, and they have a lot of people following them, and most people just want to be like them, and of course they want to follow the trend. If he smokes, I should
can
smoke.
also.
Yeah. If he drinks, I should drink. So I think the federal government or the body that controls the musical section should help us from there. That's why Daddy said, it's from the grassroots, so we all have to work on it.
How do you feel about that?
I think if you find out, some of the young people begin to do drugs. If you ask them what they want to do in school, they say music.
Yes.
Because music is a leeway into all these kind of frivolities. And the people in Nigeria who do entertainment are not helping the matters. I've listened to some lyrics and I wonder how they got played on a radio stations. The lyrics are terrible. They're insinuating into drugs and all those kind of things. Even some of the things we show on TV. The thing is that we don't know. We have a lot of young, you say a certain age don't watch this program. people watch the programs. And then so when you see
Especially
those kind
with cable TVs.
with cable TV, and then so when you see those kind of permissiveness, and then it encourages, or you go to, look, if you go to our nightclubs, you will scream Blue Mother.
But that means that the issue should be tackled maybe from homes.
Absolutely. I don't have a problem with that at all. You know, one thing we've found out, whether we like it or not, the social fabric of familyness is disappearing. We call them absentee parents. They are there physically, but they're not there. A man and a woman, they wake up in the morning at 4:30. They go to work because they work on the island. So they leave the care of their kids, impressionable kids, in the hands of domestic staff. Some of these people are the people giving them. And then
Abuse them in all forms.
Absolutely. By the time they come back at night, the kids have slept. The weekend that they should spend with them, they have parties. And then they now want their children to be taken care of in school. The school is just a modifier of what they bring from home. So you can't blame the school. They can't help you train your child. Today, parents will go to schools and beat up teachers. There are some schools in Lagos, the teacher cannot correct the student.
Yes.
He says, my parents pay your salaries. And then the parents go and say, and so the schools are permissive, the private schools.
Yeah.
If we don't go back to basics, we grew up on that basics, in the sense that maybe the mother works, she's a teacher, she comes back home to take care of you.
After 4 o'clock.
And she asks you about your school bag, and she looks and thinks, today who cares? Family is the unit that we need to go back to. And then we can use the traditional institutions, we can use the religious institutions, because they see a lot more people.
And of course, the media has a role to play.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the show today. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we can keep the conversation ongoing on our social media platforms. It's at Offscript LTV. Go on to our Facebook page or our Twitter handle or Instagram. Drop your messages and we'll take them absolutely next to keep the conversation going on our social media platform. We all have a role to play, everyone, from the family, the school, the government. We all have a role to play. Be your brother's brother and not just a keeper. A keeper can kill later. But then if you be your brother's brother, your sister's sister, the world will be a better place. And that's from me. I am Adetola Coyote. On behalf of the crew, we'll say have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Your watching Off Script on Lagos Television doesn't have to end here. We can continue the conversations online.
Okay, we take a few reactions from Facebook posts. We have this post from Quadri Adelawa.
Off Script, it's all about you.